Hello, everyone. This is Cheryl, and I am here this afternoon to do a flip through and tell you the story of my mom. This is my Mother's Day journal. My mother passed away in 2010, so I can't give it to her, but this is a tribute to her. And it shows, I believe, how wonderful she was. And her story is so special that I want to tell a little bit of it. For those of you who don't already know, my mother was a Holocaust survivor. She was in a concentration camp, one of the Dachau concentration camps, for 4 years. She was taken from a convent in Vienna, Austria. Her home was Czechoslovakia, but her father thought that because of what the Nazis were doing and how they were invading countries, he just thought she would be safe in a convent out of that city. It was almost like he knew what was coming, and so he took her there thinking that she would be safe, but it was invaded and they were taken. And she was just a young girl, probably 13 or 14, when she was taken to the camp. And she was about 18 when she was liberated. So I have made this journal, and I want to show you some of the things that I put in it. And it was a labor of love to put it together. It is a place where I am now storing papers and different things that for years I didn't know where they were and couldn't find them, and I didn't know who had them, and nobody in the family was telling me who had them. But after my brother passed away, we found them. So now I have the information that I've been looking for. Things like her marriage certificate, things like, her naturalization papers, because she became a U.S. citizen. And so anyway, she was a magnificent woman when you really think about all that she overcame. And she was surprisingly normal for everything that she had gone through. And when the war was over and she was liberated, well, they had broken her legs for trying to escape. And she was in a U.S. Army hospital, and that's where she met my dad. She was in traction for months because they had to re-break her legs in order for the bones to grow back the right way and set her legs so that she'd be able to walk. And my dad had been injured and was in that hospital in Germany. And he was real friendly. He wasn't hurt real bad, so he was real friendly, and he was walking around, and he met her. And he began to visit her. And when she was well, for a short time, she found out, the Red Cross, I suppose, found out for her that her parents had been shot. They were murdered, executed. And she never did find her brother. He was with the underground, but she never did find her. He never find him, and he never found her. And so she lost everything. And she was just without family. She didn't know where her other family, if she had family left, she didn't know where they were. And um, so she met my dad, and he began to visit her, and she was in they made a shelter in a women's prison for those that had no place to go. And she was there for a while, and I think that he began to court her and visit her, and the story is that they ended up getting married, and eventually he got stationed back over here in the States, and she came here, and my brother was born over there. My oldest brother, who is now 75, he was born over there, and so he was like a little over a year and a half, I think, when, or maybe just a year old or so, when they came over here. So anyway, let me open this up and show you. So this is a big journal. It started out, I was gonna make it like a one signature, and then it turned into two signatures, and then the cover turned out to be, the spine was too narrow, and then I had to remake it. So this journal started out as a cereal box and is now this beautiful journal. I used a quilt square that I made and had in my stash, and different, I covered the book with muslin first, and then the quilt square, and lots of laces. Some are antique laces, and some are newer laces. This is some kind of a, I don't know, like a table or a dresser runner that I took part of, and made the cover. And I love it. Can you see it? I hope I'm in frame. Jeez, this would be terrible if I'm not in frame. Let me check. Yeah, I'm in frame, and you can see the whole thing. So pretty. So it's just tied together with some pink sari silk. So let's go inside. So it has two signatures, and I just made some things like that you would put in any junk journal, but yet they're special because I made them in with all the things I know that my mother would love. And she loved lace, she loved crochet, she loved butterflies and flowers and doilies, and so she would have loved all of this, and she would have loved the colors. And I have her passport, which I tucked in here for safekeeping, because in 1985 she was able to go to Europe, and she went to Austria, and she went to Germany, and I think she went to Switzerland, if I remember right. But she never got to go to her home because of the communist, the U.S. government wouldn't let her go. But anyway, in this envelope, I put in here some recipes and things that were very special that were Mom's, and she gave them to me. This is a cookie recipe. This is a summer drink recipe. Her fried apple rings. She always made these she called them stewed apples, but she did them in a frying pan. And this is in her handwriting, and this is original that she gave to me. My kids stamped on it, of course, but this was a recipe for a Christmas cookie that is a tradition at Christmas in our house, and just some various other. She always made plum cake like they did in Germany, and so there's the recipe. And so I want to keep those and never lose them, and never stick them in a cookbook and not have them. So those are some of the special ones. So I put them in this pink dyed envelope. And I'm going to keep those in there. And some of the tags, and like this tag and some of the things, are going to be for writing down. I'm going to write in this book. There's a lot of writing space in this book because I'm going to write her story. I'm going to write all the memories. I'm going to record everything that I can remember that she ever said to me, you know, about her homeland, about her parents, because I know nothing about them, you know, except what she remembers. Can't find any information. This is a little pin that was hers, and I found it in a box of stuff that I've been going through, so I decided to pin it in here. She loved pins. And in this little thing I have her marriage certificates. There's several copies, and they're in German, so I have to get them translated in order to read them. And this is a paper that in 1948 she gave up her citizenship in Olomouc, Czechoslovakia, because she married my dad and she was moving to the States. So there's their marriage certificate. And this is other paperwork that went with that. It's all in German. It's very precious. And so I'm going to keep that in here. These are things I've been looking for. I didn't know what happened to them. Here is a copy of a wedding photo of my mom and dad. And this was on the back of the photo, so I copied it and just tore this out and put it here so it tells the name of the photographer. But they were married in 1947. February, I think it was, in 1947. And this is just an altered paper clip that I made, and this was my mom's little angel pin, and so I pinned it here. I hope you can see it. If I'm still in frame, I think I am. This is a little angel pin that was hers, and I found it in the jewelry that was in the box. And I did some hand stitching, and I put buttons and lace and everything that she would love, you know. Like I said, there's lots of writing space in here because I have a lot of things to record. This is a doily that my mom made, and it was also in my brother's things, and my niece gave it to me. She kept some and she gave me some. I have some that my mom made for me, but anyway, I put it in here for safekeeping. And all this space will be space to write her story and to record things. I made a pocket here, and I have my dad's discharge papers from the Army, his birth certificate, my brother's birth certificate. Wow. And I think he has a copy of it, but this must be the original. So I have a pocket, and I'm keeping it in the original envelope because it has my mom's handwriting. And I made this little, this is an envelope that I made out of wallpaper that I got from Kim Looney from the Secret Store. And in fact, this page here is some of that wallpaper. Isn't that beautiful? I thought it went perfect in here. So I made this envelope, and in here I have some more precious goodies. I have my mom's Social Security card. I have her War Department ID card. I don't know, there's probably a glare. there she is. And my dad's social security card and another, like a, I don't know, some other card. This is my dad's, copy of my dad's birth certificate. So all these things that were missing that I couldn't find, I have now. And everything that has to do with, there's her fingerprints, and everything that has to do with my mom is very precious. Oh, I don't know what there it is. And so this is like a perfect place to store all these things. Here is when she went back to Europe, when the one time that she got to go. This was a picture that was taken over there. Somebody that she knew over there gave her flowers. And this was in 1985. And she was so happy to be able to go to Germany and Austria. Her father was from Austria. And this will be just a little tag that I made that I can write a sentiment or write a note to her. The other part of the doily. This is, I have a lot of laces in here. This is really vintage lace. This was given to me by Nuvia. And I thought it was so beautiful to go in here. And I did a lot of stenciling and different laces. These are just a couple of the photos that I found so far that I didn't have. This was in 1973, my mom and my dad. My birthday is July the 9th. My dad's birthday was July the 10th, and my mom's birthday, July the 11th. So I always told them that I was their birthday present, the year that I was born. So we had this is at my home place, and we had a birthday party for all of us that year. I think I was the one taking the picture. That's why I'm not in the picture. Oh boy. And this is a very old picture, but it means so much to me because it's my older brother, my younger brother. This is me. I think I was like 3. And this is my cousin who is the same age as me, Gina May. And this is at her house. We went there quite often at Christmas time. So I love that picture. This is my brother when he was little. You know, just some old pictures I didn't have. This is my mom when she first came over here. That's my grandma and their dog and my brother. This was just not that many years ago. This picture was as my mom was aging, and we went to visit her. This is me, my niece, and these are my 3 daughters, Nicole and Chelsea and Jessica, and we all went. So there's all of us visiting mom. This is mom, of course, in the middle. And that was probably, I'm going to say 2 years before she passed away. So that's precious. And as you can see, there's lots of flowers in here and stenciling because Mom would have loved that. That is what she loved. And I have her diary, her journal. And so there's some things in there. She's got some wisdom written down in there, and some letters to me, things she wrote to me. And And this, I thought, I made a copy of it to put in here because this is very important for all of us to remember. And it's called Only One Mother. Only one mother a lifetime through, though so many other things come by two. The rainbows, the starlight, the beautiful things, each new tomorrow another one brings. Plenty of roses and sunsets and such, green grass and blue skies that still mean so much. The sunshine of summer is waiting for you, another bright springtime when winter is through. But only one mother, God meant it that way, that she should be special and dearer each day. He took part of all in this world, bright and real, and made them a part of the mother ideal. Do cherish this treasure, so precious and rare, for she has a heart and is willing to share. God's greatest creation, more dear than all others. All else comes in dozens, but only one mother. And that's so true. We only have one mother. So we need to cherish our mother. So I put a bingo card in here as well. I made this a while back, but I put it in here because I remember my mother loved to play bingo. When we went to her company picnic, she worked at Doubleday Bookbinding, and she loved to play bingo, and she quite often would win something. So I put that in there as, just a tribute to her love of bingo. And this is just a little lacy envelope pocket, which I made a little postcard thing that I can write on and write something down, something special. And I left some things really not completely decorated because I'm going to go back in, and when I put things in, or as I get inspired, in my heart, as I think about her, I'm going to add some things later, I'm pretty sure. It didn't all completely happen. And she loved nature, she loved cats and she loved bunnies. So I had to put a bunny in here, of course, for Mom. And this is just another little postcard thing. Places that I can write things. And I took scraps and made, one of those little scrappy notepads that I can maybe use later in collaging, or just leave it in there to be a pretty, I don't know. And there's some textured paper, I love that. Just a little tag under a hidden paper clip. Oops. Lots of stenciling. This was her favorite song. This was written, this was in her journal. She wrote so many things in her journal. And she wrote my favorite song, and it's Amazing Grace, How Sweet the Sound. And I know we all know that, but here is a verse. We all know that basically almost everybody knows the first verse. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. And I think she loved this verse, number 3. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace hath brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. So I'm sure this song was dear to her heart. So I copied it and I put it in here. I have it in her journal, but I wanted it in here. And this is another doily that I just laid in here and tied it with the strings of the signature so I could see the whole thing. She has made so many, and some of them had beautiful colors and everything, but this one was just at hand, and I had just pressed it a little bit and washed it, and so I put it in here. And she would have loved that because she loved crochet. And my book is sewn together with crochet thread. And I'm going to write a scripture in here. I just have to find the right particular one. I think I know, but I didn't want to do it and then wish I had done something else. I made an Edith Holden pocket that out of 2 pages that I just hinged in here because it had daisies in it. This was in Mom's journal. Oh boy, this was good advice. I'll read it to you. If I could live my life again, I'd be a little lazy. I'd stop this rushing to and fro and stop to pick more daisies. Through all the lovely summer months, though days be clear and hazy, no more to fret over tasks undone, I'd stop to pick a daisy. Not so important what I did. This fact time now discloses. While running through life's garden, I'd stop to smell the roses. If I could pass this way again, though folks might think I'm crazy, I'd work and worry less, but I'd take time to pick a daisy. The rush of life has passed me by. Now I have leisure hours, but time has taken such a toll. It's late to pick the flowers. I think she wrote that toward the end of her life when she realized she just had a lot of, I don't know, maybe she copied it. I don't know. I wonder if she wrote some of these. She was very artistic and poetic and artsy, and everything she did was with excellence, and it was beautiful. Everything, she worked in that bookbinding, Doubleday bookbinding, and she, proofread books and did detail work in there. Everything she did was detailed and beautiful. And she loved books, so she would have loved this. This is in 1988. This is my wedding day. And this is a picture that I love from my wedding album. I made a copy of this. And it's my mom and me. And that moment, that's such a treasured moment when just before I was getting ready to walk down the aisle and the photographer took our picture. I can never forget that. That was definitely a treasured time. And I put this little butterfly in here with this little vintage heart on it, because it just looked like something she would love. And let me see, do I have something in here? Or did I not put anything in here yet? I don't think I put anything in here yet. This is a pocket, but I didn't yet put anything in there. As I go through more things and I find more and more things, I will add them and write about them. This is a fabric cluster that I made back when I did a video for everyone and was showing you how to make clusters. Another one. This is the other part of that envelope, which I don't have anything in there yet, but I'm sure I will. Here is my part of my snippet roll that I made and is sewn on here like a pocket. And this butterfly pin belonged to my mom. And so I put it there. And this was a card that I cut and made into like a postcard or a journal card. And it just reminded me of my home because Mom loved flowers. She had a flower garden that she worked in. And she loved birds and butterflies. And we had a watering can, and she watered her flowers. And we watered our garden a lot with the watering can from the pump outside, the hand pump that we had. And so I put that in there because that reminded me of her. And that is basically the end. Isn't that beautiful? I love that digital. The digital that I used was from Lenart Studio on Etsy. And so this is my journal. And as you can see, it is pretty full already. I mean, it is full. And I love all the laces and the ribbons and the fluff, you know. But there will be more tucked into the pockets, and of course the story written. And so I put two little vintage looking, four little beads on there. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this story. I would love it if you would go to the Mother's Day post under the featured tab and give me a heart, a vote. I would love your vote. And so anyway, that's all for now. And thank you so much for listening and for watching. Bye-bye now.